Hi guys, we're back. So this video it's primarily aimed at a couple of friends that I have in mind, people who are in the health world, alternative world already, but do not understand sometimes where I'm coming from. So I'm just supposing, I'm visualizing these people coming together. They're from the health industry already. Some of them are probably skeptical, and I'm gonna chuck some other people in like some skepticals, bankers who are interested in knowledge and consciousness. I've just had an encounter with one of them, which is quite interesting because you don't. This is how I like. This is what I like. This is my introduction. This is what I like about the magical power of life, the mysterious power of life, which I think is the juice of Ayurveda and what we're studying. It's like Ayurveda, when you start learning, when you go into this science of life, you almost begin to take this magical mystery tour of what we think is the body, but in reality is more than the body, because it's like the impact of the intelligence within ourselves, which I see as consciousness out in the outer world, which may be the body. The body may just be the vehicle, the response that you get of that intelligence. So you kind of spray your intelligence out, like spraying something in the mirror, and the mirror is the body, and then it reflects back what you spray from inside out. And that's where I want to start from. I want to start this little presentation by describing Ayurveda as a magical mystery tour of life. Of course, I want to put some music into this very spontaneous speech. This is not something I have prepared. I've only put some ideas down on paper. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at the paper. If you see me looking out and about, it's because I'm just trying to reach out for the inspiration that comes from the outside, but it's actually coming from the inside. I don't like to look very straight into the camera. I'm not very comfortable with the camera, I have to say. But yeah, so we start this magical mystery tour into life. And then how does that, what does that imply? So from my experience, I'm talking mainly from the experience, which kind of seems to be reflected in the material that we have studied, that we have covered, that I want to present. From my experience, things that we complain about within our bodies, diseases, disorders, something that isn't so comfortable, stomach aches. I had regular stomach aches since I was born. I think I was born with a stomach ache. These effects are an effect. So why, my mom was asking me, why do you have stomach ache all the time? Why are you stressed out all the time? This was my introduction to life. So, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and it wasn't the food I was eating. Yeah, maybe, some sweets and stuff. But I think primarily there was a cause that needed to be addressed. What I'm finding out now is that, and what I've learned through the practice of TM, and through the practice of life, because when you start doing your meditations, your regular meditation, you take a deep dive within yourself and you use these sounds. So Maharishi was talking about sounds as being the reverberations of knowledge. So we use these sounds to kind of get to know ourselves and while we get to know ourselves, we also get to know, we find out there's a lot more than ourselves. There's like a whole world out there, out there. And that's primarily, I think, where you find, the roots of the causes of the diseases, of the disorders, of whatever is going on. So once we connect to the intelligence within ourselves, we begin to attend to the cause of whatever area we're looking at. And that's a thing that is, I think, is the most primarily concept in life in general. So as you are a health practitioners, you are a Pilates instructor, you are a yoga instructor, Steiner's educator, Hare Krishna devotee. These are, the people that I'm addressing this topic to. All of you know that the body is like, the temple. We use the body as a temple, but I guess, the main idea behind this temple is that we need to find what lays at the foundation of the temple, and we need to pay attention to the root, water the root to get the fruit or something like that. So what I have experienced with the practice of TM, with the practice of a lot of inner work activities, including Pilates, including yoga, including, using any kind of form of meditation, but primarily with TM. I think TM unblocked is like something was blocked, the cause of the stomach ache. Why do you have a stomach ache? I don't know. I was crying all the time. I didn't know. And no diets were really treating that. No yoga was really treating that initially. And then over the years, so it's been 10 years since I started meditation. It's been a little bit more than 10 years since I started Pilates. But Pilates was addressing the structure of the body, and it was really doing a lot for me. But what I couldn't go really, really deep into the root of the cause, because I wasn't doing something, I didn't have a tool that allowed me to go deeper and to be safe while going deeper. Because sometimes you could go, you go to 15 days of meditation, and there you go. You don't know where you're going. You come out and you're like, oh God, that was good. But then you have to translate that back into, bring it back into life. And that's why I call it Magical Mystery Tour, because it's a tour that never ends. It's like once you go deep, once you go in, once you pop, you can't stop. They had this advert in the Pringles advert in England. In the UK, once you pop, you can't stop. And that's the whole idea of, once you start learning about consciousness, you don't really learn about it, you just go into it. And you continue to practice. Automatically, the intelligence within ourselves speaks out to the body, as vehicles. And automatically, things begin to improve. So the stomach aches, I always want to refer, because that's my main issue in life. When all the tears, everything that accumulate goes into my stomach, the digestive system. And that's primarily what drives everything. So even if I followed like the strictest healthier route, vegan or whatever, that didn't work for me. The stomach aches were always there because it was something a bit deeper. So it took me, it still goes on. It goes on and on, to the point that now I'm accustomed, but I've become familiar. I've become a friend of my stomach aches in a sense. So I'm like, the stomach hurts like 2 weeks ago. I don't know, you treat it as a friend. So it becomes something that is part of you, but it's kind of want to talk at the same time. So you're like, you ask the stomach what's wrong with you, but you don't ask what's wrong with you like your mom. You're like, okay, show me what you ideally want to do. And what I've learned during this course, and I've learned during the years, is that there's small little things that you could do instead of changing your diet dramatically, like drinking a cup of warm water throughout the day. That is enough for me to kind of start regulating my digestion. But most importantly, it's the feeling that goes with it, you know. So I'm not drinking a cup of water thinking, oh my goodness, this cup of water is gonna heal me. This is the healer, because it probably wouldn't be, because I have like this whole, I put so much pressure on the water. No, I think it's like when, you know, this intelligence within ourselves wants to speak, wants to become familiar, wants to familiarize, wants to befriend ourselves. And then, you know, when I want to drink the water, I went through the phase of drinking water, not only water, but warm water. And it wasn't doing much, you know. I was like, not that it wasn't doing much, I didn't even notice any difference. And then one day I thought, wait a sec, I'm putting too much pressure on this, you know, there's so much pressure on the water. Why do you put pressure on a glass of water? What's your expectation out of a glass of water? So I quit the expectation bit. But this is a long-term process. So it's not you're not taking a magical pill, but you're discovering all these little pills within yourself. And finally, you know, like in the beginning of this course, I had very bad stomach aches, very bad. I was traveling, my body was out of place, but I was so focused on treating the stomach aches, they got worse. So it's like, something is not right here. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm gonna get over a little bit of my 10 minutes. A couple of weeks ago, I'm quitting this whole idea of Ayurveda. I'm quitting this whole idea of drinking water, paying attention to all the foods, you know, everything I'm doing, ginger here, turmeric there, coconut oil, no, pitta, too much pitta, ghee, you know, it's like, whoa! And my stomach wasn't happy, wasn't digesting the whole process anyway. Plus I had a lot of stuff going on in my life, you know, living this, I don't want to, you know, I didn't want to use like the fancy backdrop, because this is actually part of the intelligence of life, is not to put a mask on the backdrop, you know, just be where you want to be. And this is it, my unfinished house, unfinished foundations, like a work in progress. This is it, it's a work in progress. So life is a work in progress. And what do I want to say? How do I want to conclude this little introduction? Basically, I want to say that we should take everything easily. You know, even if you have all this knowledge of Pilates, yoga, banking, technology, engineering, you know, we have all this knowledge. It's very easy to get caught in the knowledge. Ayurveda even, you know, you're like Pitta, Vata, Kapha, this and that. You're like, oh, you are Pitta. No, I'm Kapha. No, I'm Vata. You must be, you know, cut that bullshit. Sorry, I had to use it. Don't cut it, but put it on the side, park it there, and then take a break, go inside, water the root. So, you know, take your time to meditate, even if it's like you're a Pilates instructor and you have this little pain in the shoulder, doesn't go away, and you keep doing the exercises are right, you think you know they're right, but the shoulder is still hurting. Okay, park that shoulder, not park the shoulder, like dislocate it, keep it within yourself, but, you know, maybe you should park it, take a break from it, have some fun, whatever, you know, you're inspired from. But most importantly, do your meditations regularly. I cannot stress out how important that is. You know, I went to this psychotherapy training in London, and the first class, they said the secret of meditation is to do it. Because psychotherapists, they really want you to meditate. But, you know, meditate without expectations, and then monitor in a very effortless way, like, Maharishi always says, effortless. I used to laugh at that word so much. Effortless. What's effortless? Everything is hard.